Hello and good morning. On Monday, the 2nd of April 2018, it's the WP Builds newsletter once again. And this is covering the week since the 26th of March 2018. We'll get stuck right in. The first article is on the WP Tavern website, and it points out that in WordPress 4.9.5, users will now be only 2 clicks away from installing Gutenberg. It's been a long road, hasn't it? But now, click a button, click another button, and it's going to be installed. Apparently, this was mooted to go into a much earlier version, the 4.9 beta 4, but it never made it in because Matt thought that it wasn't quite ready yet. And so we're at that point. We're at the point where we're really sort of rattling on and getting ready. So it's going to be happening in the next version of WordPress. Speaking of the next version of WordPress, a couple of changes. The cheating error message has been replaced. I'm not entirely sure what it's been replaced with, but it wasn't a particularly helpful thing to see, was it, when something went wrong? Basically, it just meant you're not allowed, get out. But I think some people thought it was a bit rude, so it's been replaced by something apparently a little bit more useful that is dependent upon the actual error that has been generated. Also, PHP recommended version is now 7.2. And the Hello Dolly, apparently out of context, some of the lyrics could have been seen as being a bit offensive. And so those lyrics have now been removed. To be honest, I have no idea what that plugin is all about. I just uninstall it the second I start WordPress up for the first time. Okay, over on the WP Shout website, we've got David Hayes, who's got a 43-minute 101, if you like, video on WordPress security. He recorded it because he was doing a WordCamp seminar, and he decided it would be good to get it all down before as a bit of a rehearsal. It's really good, actually. So if you've not really touched on WordPress security before, this might be a good primer for you. Okay, the next one is over at the Smashing magazine, and if you're like me and you struggle to make contact forms or generally forms look attractive, Kate over at Smashing magazine has decided to write an entire article about making forms look pretty. And it's not just WordPress forms, it's any kind of forms, but there's some really good stuff in there, actually. Really nice variety of ways to lay out forms, from the sublime to the beautiful. So perhaps that's something worth checking out. I'm going to be reading it. Okay, BuddyPress has turned 10. In 2008, it was started as a bit of a collaboration with a variety of WordPress plugins. I think it was 3 or 4 that were kind of amalgamated. I think it was BBPress, GlotPress, and BackPress. And it was kind of like a social network in a box. And at the time, there were things like MySpace doing the rounds, and so it was great that WordPress could do this. And I think back then, I wasn't particularly using WordPress, but my understanding is that people then thought, wow, look what you can actually do with WordPress. And it encouraged people to get a little bit more ambitious. Anyway, it's turned 10 and it's still going strong. The next item is over on the Elementor page, elementor.com, and this is all about the fact that they've got this new technique for building websites faster, and it's called blocks, and you basically drag in entire sections. So you might drag in, I don't know, a hero image block, you might drag in a contact form block or a grid block. It looks quite cool, actually, and it certainly will speed things up if you're happy with the templates, and the templates that they've got look really handy. So anyway, nice idea, nice iteration on Elementor. And the next one is kind of connected to Elementor, actually, because I mentioned Dave Foy a few times before. He's a friend of mine and he runs courses. He's had 2 successful courses in the recent past, and coinciding with the release of Elementor 2.0, which is a very recent piece of news, he's going to be using Elementor along with a host of other, in inverted commas, normal, understandable tools to teach you how to use funnels. Now, it's going to be divided up into 6 modules. What's a sales funnel? The customer is everything, attracting the right prospect, nurturing the lead, better results, and all the funnels. And he's selling it at the moment. If you get in over the next week, probably it's more like 4 days by the time this news goes out or something like that, then you're going to get it at a considerably smaller cost. I think it's going from $347. He's giving it away for people in the first week or so for $197. And knowing the stuff that he produces, if you don't know much about funnels but you feel that's something you're going to need to do, then Dave's your man. Go and click on the link and get yourself sorted. We spoke a moment ago about version 7.2 of PHP. Well, the guys over at Caldera Forms, Josh, have decided they're going to drop support for anything below version 7. I'm not sure if it's 7.2 or just 7. Basically, if it begins with a 5, your Caldera Forms are going to stop working. So if you're using Caldera Forms and you've got dodgy old hosting, certainly worth checking out. Go and read the WP Shout article to find out more about that. Okay, this is now into news which is nothing to do with WordPress, but interesting anyway. GoDaddy is moving a very, very large proportion of its infrastructure over to Amazon AWS. It kind of feels like that shouldn't be allowed because they're complete rivals, but a lot of their platform is moving over to AWS. Now, it's not all of the websites, but it is lots of their infrastructure. And so it kind of feels like this is maybe where GoDaddy are going. And maybe in 5 years' time, when we say GoDaddy, will mean kind of an affiliate of AWS. Who knows? Certainly interesting and significant. I did this week. This is a Facebook thing. I think Facebook's annoyed a lot of people this week. Possibly not you, but it has annoyed a lot of people about the amount of data that they've collected and then kind of given away, if you like. And on the Lifehacker website, they teach you how to go and get your blob of data, because various people have downloaded their blob of data, notably a software developer called Dylan McKay, and has found that he's been, Facebook have basically been recording all sorts of interesting metadata about his SMS messages and his phone calls. And as far as he's aware, he never gave Facebook permission to do that. So he's a bit alarmed. I've downloaded my blob. It's happening now. It's downloading now. It's huge. And I'm going to find out exactly what Facebook has on me. But if that's something that you want to do, check it all out. I know that a few of my friends have actually ditched Facebook altogether over this. So there we go. Okay, next one. Could this be a revolution in devices yet again? Chrome OS. Google has launched a Chrome OS tablet. Now, they're squarely aiming this at the education sector, where iPads are competing, I think, somewhat unsuccessfully against Chromebooks. But nevertheless, Apple have brought out a new, cheaper iPad. Google, the very day before, brought out this Chrome OS tablet. So it's $329. I think it's fairly slimmed down. It's not a particularly remarkable device. Nevertheless, do we have something new to put in our pockets and bags? Chrome on a tablet. Very interesting. I would certainly like to get my hands on one of those and try it out. And last but not least, affecting all of us, did you know that over 27 iterations and many, many years, we have finally got to TLS 1.3, that is Transport Layer Security 1.3. Now these guys, the IETF, do this right. They argue it, they iterate it, they come back, they bash each other over the head. They don't bring things out until it's exactly right. I wish every organization were like this. Anyway, in the future, TLS 1.3 is going to very silently but significantly improve the security of your browsers. The handshake between the client and the server is going to be streamlined so that the encryption is initiated earlier and there's less data leaked. Forward secrecy, perfect forward secrecy, meaning that hackers can't skim decryption keys and exchange it to use, decrypt things that are also in the same session possibly. Legacy encryption algorithms are going to be removed, which is great, and a 0 round trip time mode in which the server and the client have established some preliminaries before you can get right to sending data. Well, that's going to be significantly faster. So you and I probably won't see it, but just know that it's happened and it's really good stuff. Right, there we go. One last thing to say, and that is if you use something to manage a bunch of WordPress websites, can I encourage you to go and look at MainWP at mainwp.com. If you like their products, right now you can get 25% off their offerings if you use the coupon code WP Builds, all capitals, no spaces, at the checkout. 25% off anything that's on their website. Very cool indeed. Guys, I hope you have a fabulous week. If you're where I am in this part of the world, it's Easter, so happy Easter.